3 weeks later, the scratching started. I was back in Philly. My apartment. Doors locked. Lights on. The world felt real again. Until 3:14 a.m. That's when I heard it, from inside the walls. I pressed my ear to the sheetrock. Nothing. Then I turned to go back to bed, and saw a handprint on the inside of the window. Pressed to the glass from within. Faint. Child-sized. Smudged like someone crying behind it. I called Amira the next morning. I didn't know what else to do. She picked up instantly. No, hello. You heard it, didn't you? Yeah. She exhaled. It started here 2 nights ago. I thought it was just me. Did you bring it back? No. I think it followed on its own. That should have made no sense. But it did. Remainders weren't confined to the chapel. They were born from unresolved echoes. And our echoes had left the path. The next night, I set up a camera. Motion activated. Pointed at the living room. I didn't sleep. Just watched. And at 3:14 a.m., it activated. Only for 3 seconds. I watched the clip in the morning, hands shaking. At first, it looked like static. Then, a shape crawled backward across the ceiling. Fast. Broken. Its head turned slowly toward the camera. It had my mother's face. Eyes gone. Mouth open too wide. She died when I was 12. I never said goodbye. I slammed the laptop shut. But the audio kept playing, still walking, Eli, still hungry. I stayed with Amira after that. Her apartment was in a high-rise, far above any woods. We figured it'd be safer. It wasn't. At 3:14 a.m. on the third night, the hallway outside filled with weeping. Not loud. Wet. Like someone crying through mud. We pressed our ears to the door. Silence. But underneath it. Footsteps. Inhumanly slow. Dragging. We didn't sleep. We didn't eat much. By the 5th day, the lights in her apartment flickered every time we said certain names. Her sister's name. My father's. Mallory. Caleb. Atlee. The remainders weren't just back, they were feeding. Off guilt. Off memory. Off unfinished grief. We had walked the mourner's path. But the trail hadn't ended. It had just changed shape. We went back. Middle of the night. Drove through fog and forest until the trees leaned in again. But when we reached the old gravel road, there was no sign. No gate. No trail. Just a field. Burned black. Something had happened. The chapel hadn't just collapsed, it had been erased. As if the place itself was ashamed. But the souls. They weren't there anymore. Only remainders. Hundreds. Walking in loops. Colliding. Melting. Reforming. Like they'd lost the script. And in the center, a new figure. Tall. Wrapped in tattered robes. Face hidden by a veil made of hands. Amira whispered, "That's new." It turned toward us. Spoke without moving. Its voice came from below the earth, "You opened the gate, but you never closed it." And then it screamed. The earth shook. Amira grabbed my hand, pulling me backward, but the veil of hands lifted. And beneath it was no face. Only a hole. A deep, wet, breathing wound. It inhaled, and names flew out of our mouths, Jamie, Caleb, Marlo, Mira, Mom. It fed on remembrance. We ran. Back to the car. Back to the road. But the sound followed. Every mirror reflected not our faces, but the remainders we'd carried. The weight of memory made flesh. And then, silence. When we finally reached the main road again, it was dawn. The radio turned on by itself. A voice, faint, buried under static, "The path never ends, it only hides." Then it cut to music. Some old lullaby I didn't recognize. Amira turned to me. "We're not done." "No," I said. We weren't. Because now we understood, the mourner's path doesn't end with closure. It only ends with everyone remembering. Even the things we want to forget.